wait right there. All right. We're going to start the live stream shortly. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Don't forget to like the video on your way in. I'm starting now on Instagram so we can actually get everybody in here at the same time. All right. So we're about to move to our first scene. Let's talk about it. All right. Let's talk about it. We got some stuff to talk about today. Okay. Now I'm not going to be on a soapbox to start. Well, maybe a little bit. All right, but thank you to everybody that is tuning in. We're going to talk about this. The topic today is Black leaders are a problem. The title was simply, is Donald Trump the Black community's biggest problem? Or is he even a problem? Because many Black people think that Donald Trump is our biggest problem. All right. But I'm just going to put this up here. Black leaders are a problem. All right. So we're going straight to it. Now, I know this is going to get me in trouble, but let's listen into this gentleman right here. Thank you to everyone who liked the video on the way in. Let's get started.
And the one idea is,
Hold on, let's go back.
and the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system and stop playing and get very serious and not be diverted. And the
All right, so that, obviously this may be a fringe position that this man is espousing, but you would be surprised that there are many Black people who think like him and believe that white men and white people are Black people's biggest problem. And not the culture that we've adopted, this culture of death that we've adopted as the norm. It's white people, right? We're going to talk a bunch about a bunch of different topics, but I'm tying it into this gentleman. He is the extreme, right? He believes that white people need to be exterminated from the face of the planet. I don't see how, even if you believe that, how are you going to go about accomplishing it? You don't have the resources to do that, but maybe, he's an author and owner of Blacknificent Books. Maybe in some sci-fi universe, he believes that this can actually happen. Now, this is on the heels of multiple scandals by Black mayors and leadership. And then recently, Joy Reid has been espousing some very interesting ideas of her own. And now I'm going to be honest. Joy Reid is not espousing anything that I haven't heard growing up in the Black community. Let's listen in. You think this is not the first time I've ever heard this, but let's listen in old Joy Reid, right?
They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave hell. But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. They can get rid of all the slavery stuff. They got PragerU. They can lie about the history to the children. They can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. We Black folk gave y'all country music, hip hop, R&B, jazz, rock and roll. They couldn't even invent that, but they have to call a white man the king, because they couldn't make rock and roll. So they have to stamp the king on a man whose main song was stolen from an overweight Black woman.
Now, y'all, this is common. You will hear this in Black circles. That and now it's open because it's on the internet. Al Gore's internet. Right? For those of us that grew up old enough to remember that Al Gore claiming that he invented the internet, Joy Reid is posting this on the internet, which the last time I checked was not invented by Black people. They can't invent anything iPhone much? I don't know. I'm just asking the questions. But when you have leaders like this, and she's a thought leader, right? She's not an actual leader like a mayor or governor and the like, any type of politician, but she's a thought leader apparently in the black community. And she had a long running show on MSNBC, and this is the type of rhetoric that she spews, and this is the type of logic that comes from her mindset. This black first, black over everything, black is the best mindset. Now, and this mindset can't deal with actual pushback and facts that when they are presented to them, right? The only thing that they can do is continue to double down on the rhetoric, like this man here seems to agree with Joy Reid. We're going to listen to him right there talking. He doesn't offer any pushback, but he just seems to be a yes man for Joy's nonsense. But let's keep listening. We're making a case here.
The question is, we're going to talk about how this is happening in real time and how this has always happened, how the fragility of mediocre, terrified white men is destroying America, and how they have to make a level playing field for themselves. And it's all projection all the time. Like I just said right now, safe spaces for them, none for us.
Now this is interesting, right? Because they're making it seem as though it's a bad thing for white men to want to create a country where even the mediocre among them could succeed and be safe and create a family and live out their days in relative security. I like that idea. If that's white supremacy, sign me up for it. Where even the mediocre can live a life relatively free from violence, from oppression, from starvation, from sickness and death that plagued the ancient world. This is a problem because now they're fragile. Because again, we're talking about a group of people. This man is sitting in an air-conditioned building in a country founded by white men that is majority white, built upon Christian principles. And I don't know his background, but he doesn't seem to be the most physically intimidating, roughing it type of man. And he's calling white men mediocre and unimpressive, I guess, and fragile. That was the other one. See, this is the name calling and the stone throwing and the like. It just proves that they don't have much. The Joy Reids of the world. And we're going to talk about some more because we're going to deal with Amanda Seales as well. But this country was founded by white men for their progeny. That there's nothing wrong with you wanting to create something great so that your future generations can prosper. So I mean, again, I don't understand why this is rocket science. That the founders wanted this nation to be great so that their children and their children's children's children could reap the benefits of their hard work. Why is that a big deal? Why do they need to be fragile? Why is that the term being used? But when you have thought leaders like this, the previous gentleman who's the extreme, who wants to exterminate all white people from the planet, or the Joy Reids of the world who lie and gaslight and make claims that white men haven't created anything or invented anything in recent memory. Pick up your phone, ma'am. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. But then they'll say, well, they stole those ideas from black people because apparently everything is stolen from black people. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Help me. Look, y'all, because I'm answering comments. I want to talk. I want to talk. Like the video, come in. Let me know. Right? Everything was stolen. What's going on, Gear Jammer? Mark Galletti, welcome. Caleb Collins. Right? Everything was stolen. Right? Everything was stolen. She's essentially saying that I don't know. But again, she's not the only one, and you're going to notice a theme here. Amanda Seales goes on to Jubilee and gets cooked by young conservatives and older and middle-aged conservatives alike. Let's listen into this. We're going to put it at 1.25 so we get through it a little bit faster. All right. Yes, see. That's a great question. What kind of America do I want to see? I want to see an America where the borders are secure, where we deport. I'm gonna make it even simpler. I am a Christian nationalist. I want America to acknowledge Jesus Christ as Lord, and I want everything that flows from that positive and good. If you're asking me if I could wave a wand tomorrow, it would be that America would be a Christian nation, and we would go to the scriptures and have debates about that. What does that look like? How can we best implement that? If you want to look at an account that's been posting recently, a lot of things that I agree with, right? Where's the separation of church and state in the Constitution? Because reading the founding fathers, you would understand that they didn't believe that. And again, I guess I got to go to this book again. Oh boy. There would be no established national church, right? Where is it? Here it is again. And this is the book I'm going to read from right here. Okay. Yeah. America's Christian History, The Untold Story. Yes. Okay. By Gary DeMar. Where is that? All right. And these are state constitutions, page 65. Page 65. Here we go. All right. This is the Delaware State Constitution, Article 22, 1776. Every person who shall be chosen a member of either house or appointed to any office or place of trust shall also make and subscribe the following declaration, to wit, I, underscore, or undersigned, do profess faith in God the Father and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, and in the Holy Ghost, one God, blessed forevermore. And I do acknowledge the Holy Scriptures of the Old and New Testament to be given by divine inspiration. And it goes on, multiple other states, New Jersey, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts in 1776, 1784, New Hampshire, North Carolina, 1776, South Carolina, 1778, Pennsylvania, 1776. All right. Biblical law made a part of American law. You should read this book. All right. Because there was no separation of religion, but there would be no established state churches, and each state would be able to. There would be no established federal church, but there would be states could require certain confessions of the Christian religion as a requirement for holding office. Now, look, so Joel Webbin's recent posts have been really, really good. If you want to go and check it out, right? Like this, 105 years ago today, the 19th Amendment. He's basically saying, yeah, right. Right. And I get you guys don't understand, but that wasn't what the states' rights. I know you all don't really understand the Constitution, right? I get it. because you've grown up in a time where you believe that the federal government is all powerful and should be, but the whole Bill of Rights, people's rights and states' rights, anything that was not outlined in the Constitution as belonging to the federal government was left up to the states. I know, yes, it was. Several today, it was an absolute abomination. There was a lot of problems that happened, with the Senate becoming selected by the popular vote. A lot of different problems that have caused us to be at the place where we are, right? Yeah, the Establishment Clause, you got to understand, you're interpreting the Establishment Clause the way that you have been taught to interpret it, not the way the founders interpreted it. And I just told you that, why would that be the case if states' constitutions held religious adherence, the Christian religion adherence, before you would be able to vote? So there's no separation of church and state the way that you're thinking about it. So, I mean, you can continue to believe that, but it's just not true. What's going on, Elizabeth? How are you today? Let's see. Let me go back to some of these other quotes, these other comments. Y'all are actually getting it in. I really love to see it. Let's see. So number one thing would be American. I'm a Christian nationalist, and we would figure out everything as we went from there, right? I believe that there should be no, what is this? What is he? Joel has a really good one. Where is this? Oh, man, where's the, even here? A Christian nation is not possible because Jesus' kingdom is not of this world. I disagree with that. Absolutely. Jesus, when he was, we'll talk about that. That's essentially allowing people to separate the heavenly world from the earthly world. Jesus is reigning currently over the entire cosmos right now. So it's our duty to go about preaching the gospel. Where is it? That's it. Yeah. Anyway, but if you want to go and read some of Joel's stuff, it's in line with what I believe. A lot of it is really close to what I believe, right? Okay. Let's see. Yes, you're right, Caleb. Some things those who were given black weren't given proper credit, right, for being involved at the specific time. But to say every white invention was stolen is not true. Exactly. I'm all about the truth. Let's figure out what actually we're owed, if anything. And I mean, I haven't invented the thing, so I'm not saying we as in the collective we. But if you're thinking that black people have had ideas stolen from them, okay, let's talk about the ones that have been stolen. Repair the damage there. But to say that white men haven't invented anything, I'm pretty sure the software that I'm using is called Ecamm Live. It was invented. The guy what's his name? Adrian, I forget his name, who wrote. Yeah, he's a white guy. So, I mean, I'm not about to sit here and lie in order to make my case. Yeah. So let's see. That's a good one, Ian. Ian Goncalves. Want to see America less selfish. Stop the corporate government mindset and seeing everyone as a chance to make money and satisfy your greedy needs and end racism. Yeah, and again, racism can't be legislated out of the world because it exists in human hearts. But what we can do, and what we have done as a country, most people don't want to believe this, is that we've legislated racism out of our codified laws. Like that we don't have any codified laws that are inherently racist, unless you're talking about ones that the left has recently instituted, like DEI and the like, where you are unless you're essentially being racist against white men. That's the only acceptable form of racism to be codified in America right now, is racism against white men. You can write laws that disenfranchise white men in this country, and nobody will bat an eye. And that's where the actual racism of today is. So we're essentially trying to fix racism with more racism. And so, yeah, right. And again, anyone who believes this is obviously is not well read and doesn't understand American history, freedom from religion. That is absolutely not true. The people who came here wanted to exercise their religious freedom without threat of persecution. This was not an atheistic nation. I don't know where you get that from. The first debate: is the Bible historically and scientifically accurate? Yes. Debate closed. All right, Mr. Yagusi. What's going on, Mr. Mike? One thing about the liberal left, a lot of them, they talk so condescendingly to people who disagree with them, right? A lot of them have an air of arrogance about them. Yes, they do. And you're going to see this with Amanda Seals. I'm just going through some of these comments. I want to make sure before we do that. Let's see. All right. All right. First, last. All right. Says America is a Luciferian nation. Read a book by Thomas Paine. He hated Christianity. Thomas Jefferson hated Christianity. Washington was a Freemason. Stop reading biased books that fit your ideology. Sure thing, guy. Okay. All right. I need to take everything. Let's see. All right. But religious freedom. What if your religion says? Right. What is it? Let's see. All right. Freedom from religion, but religious freedom as well. What if your religion says all who aren't your religion must be dealt with? What do you mean dealt with? You got to actually expound upon that. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. All right. So here we go. We got another one here. All right. Thank you guys. All right. Appreciate you trolls for coming in as well. Right. They definitely weren't thinking about me. Right. Because they didn't have that type of futuristic insight. They were not thinking about me personally. You're absolutely right about that. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm looking at some of these other comments before we get to the. All right. Let's see. Service Day, which abolitionists in what sense? There could be. You could be one to abolitionists. Let's see. All right, here we go. See, the assumption is that we don't know anything about anything, right? So we know about Jefferson hating the miracles of Jesus and taking out anything dealing with the supernatural. Yes, we all know. You're not the only person that reads. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right. Yeah, Christian nationalism is not un-American. It was. I mean, again, there's original sources that cite America being a Christian nation. You all should read this book. Even if you don't agree with it, you should read it because the original sources are very helpful. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, see. No. Everything is theological. Yeah, Johnny, that's absolutely not true. Because if you replace God, what are you going to fill it with? You're going to fill it with something else that you worship, and you believe that man's rationality and humanism is the height of rationality. So essentially you become a religion of yourself, right? So that's the idea. Yeah, everybody's inherently going to worship something, right? You actually believe that secular ideologies and mindsets should be placed at the pinnacle of thought, right? But we've seen that in action. Yeah, we've seen that in action. All right. Let's see. Just looking at. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to deal with more comments. All right. Let's see. All right. So not that I get that weekly. You all are paying me to say this. So super chat, right? If you all right, join the channel, right? You can do that too. You all pay me this, right? You pay me by actually commenting, right? Y'all helping out. Thank you. Like the video and subscribe. You're helping to pay for this. Yeah. Trust me, if somebody wanted to pay me for these things, for saying the stuff that I already believe, I'd take the money, right? It was, right?
I just want some money.
Right? But I actually do this because I enjoy it. After I'm done working and before I go to my next job, I try to put together a show for an hour, right? There you go. See? So, yes. All right. So let's talk about, here we go. Let's talk about Amanda Seals, right? Oh, no, they're absolutely not. Yeah, I'm not a xenophobe. Yeah, there are people who are underneath an umbrella, and that's one of the reasons why terms are identifying yourself with a term in the broad sense can create confusion. But obviously, you know that I'm not interested in xenophobia and racism and ignorance and all these other things. But there are people who call themselves Christian nationalists who do that. I disagree with them, but yeah, people can call themselves whatever they want. They're Christians who don't even follow Jesus, right? People who call themselves Christians who don't follow Jesus at all, who never read their Bible, who do not practice anything that could be called Christian. They just go to a church where, some interesting, maybe not even interesting. They go to a soft rock concert with a Jesus style TED talk and they call themselves Christian, right? I mean, that's essentially what most of evangelical churches want to become, right? You scan your QR code and technology is going to save us, and kids church and everything, right? All of that stuff. All that is absolute nonsense that doesn't help you to practice the faith day by day. But that's what most churches are. But people still call themselves Christians, right? When they do that. But that's one of the hard things about, terms, because anybody can call themselves anything these days. Yeah. So, all right, let's listen to Amanda Seales discussing this with an 18-year-old man. All right, young man, young conservative. Here you go. That was a very Kamala-like word salad. The statistics being shown a specific way, right? So, unfortunately, he gave SAN just fact checked him. He said 90% is 88%, so he was 2% off. Now, she's going to say, well, young man, right? Demeaning him, right? This is a part of the problem when you have a matriarchal leadership. You're going to see her continue to demean this young man because he's 18 years old and he just laid out the facts. Now, she doesn't like the facts, and she's going to say that statistics lie. Statisticians lie. I don't know if you use the statistic, it's not going to lie because it doesn't have any moral agency. Statisticians lie.
As the oppressor.
Now, again, he's cooking. The idea here is that you're more likely to be deleted by a black man as a black man. Now, that's absolutely true of almost every other race, right? You're more likely to be killed of someone because proximity plays a part in most murders. But what he's pushing back against is the idea that that white men are black men's biggest problem. And I talked about this the other day. The toxic energy, the negative energy of people like Amanda Seales, like Joy Reid, like the Roland Martins, like name your Boule member or your run-of-the-mill matriarch. They're all doing their level best to make sure that young black men like him stay on the plantation. Now, it's a beautiful thing to see that this young man at 18 years old is willing to stand on the square and go toe-to-toe with this absolutely insane middle-aged woman, I think she is. And we see him saying, look, these sellouts, the true sellouts, the ones who have taken the check in order to degrade the black community through violent rap music, through over sexualization from the female rappers, etc. All of these other sellouts who actually care nothing about the black community and only want to profit and milk money from the black community while taking money from record executives who don't care about the black community either and just want to profit off of the black dollar. He's willing to stand toe to toe with her, and we need more men, young men like this. Right now, let's go back to some of these comments. I know some of y'all are saying this, right? And again, everybody's, you all are welcome. Trolls, I appreciate you for coming in and keeping the chat lively, because the people who agree are going to keep chatting as well. So we need that opposition in the chat. Thank you to everybody. Now I'm going to try my best to get to some of them, but again, we already got 337 comments. I can't stop for every comment, but if super chats will be brought up to the top and we will address those. But if I see something interesting in the chat, I will try to address it, but the chat's going pretty fast. All right. So now, unfortunately, this is a good one. This is a good Ernest. All right. Ernest says, stop. Unbelievable. The colonizers only see your black face. How would you make things better? Here's the thing, Ernest. One thing I wouldn't do is I wouldn't classify every white person as a colonizer. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to the negative pathologies that plague the black community. I'm not going to sit back and say, well, I won't complain or criticize anything black. I won't turn a blind eye to the good things that white people do or that black people do. Now, I don't know why this is unbelievable to you, that black people actually think differently than you and are not on the plantation believing that everything that black people do is somehow excusable. I don't understand why y'all think that. I don't understand why you think that I have to view white people the same way that you view them. See, I don't view them the same way that you view them. I try to view people, taking them as an individual, saying, okay, are you a good person? Are you following Jesus? That's one. That's a big one. Are you the type of person that I can glean from, or that we can help to support one another? Because the most damaging things that have happened to my family have happened to my family from black people. People with the same skin hue as me. They've been slanderers. They've lied on us. They've done. So at some point, you've got to get it out of your head that white people are your biggest problem. No, black people have been my biggest problem in my entire life. It started from a very early age and it's continued that way throughout the entirety of my life. So I would have to be absolutely insane to think, well, I know black people have done all of this stuff to me. They're hateful, spiteful. They want to keep me on the plantation. They call me all kinds of names. They want to see my family fail. They hate the things that we're doing as a family, but at least they ain't white. I mean, seriously, if that's how I have to think, then I'm not going to join you in that. Like, this is not how I'm going to, I don't rock that way. I'm just saying, I don't know. We got a super chat. Thank you, Steve H. Right? Just because you're cool and I dig your content. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. They're always appreciated. Let's finish in again, because it just has to be a mind shift. You have to start taking people at face value and say, okay, this is the type of person that I want to be around, whether they're black, white, or I try to take everyone based on their character and not by, their skin color. Because skin color has gotten me in trouble, trusting people because of their skin color, wanting to be around all black people because, I'm more comfortable there. But if you think about it, and we talked about this on the last episode, the amount of negative energy that you have to deal with in the black community when you're trying to go against the grain and against the narrative, the prevailing narrative, is something that becomes a weight. At a certain point, it becomes too much to bear. Like, well, why don't I just go somewhere where people look at me and try to judge me based on who I am and just enjoy it, right? Just enjoy being around like-minded people, right? Thank you. 99-cent super chat. I appreciate every super chat. No matter the amount. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. So, yes, no relation. There you go. No relation. There you go. All right. So let's continue on. I'm well over that age. I'm almost 50 years old. So I'm no kind of end. Unless, the black people probably going to call me that. And there's probably some racist white people that will call me an end. It is what it is. All right. So she checked him, right? The black woman is speaking. Essentially, that's what she said, right? I'm a black woman speaking. I could be your mama. Don't you talk to me like that. He cooked her. She had no comeback for the stats, data, and the facts, data, and statistics. So she said, well, you know what? This is what I have left. He's 18. I'm in my 40s. I think she's in her late 30s or 40s. So she pulled the mama card out on him. Now, black men, y'all know that you can get that mama card pulled out on you no matter the age. I'm 47, and the church that we just recently left, a couple of old women tried to pull that mama card on me. I'm almost 50, raising 5 kids, and I still get the mama card pulled on me as a grown man. And so sometimes you just you're like, man, I really don't like this. This is infantilizing. Why? How do you get to talk to me? I'm a man who's continuing to do the right thing, loving my wife, raising my children, doing all these other, and they try to son you. Tell I'm gonna whip you. You're not gonna put your hands on me. Are we serious? I'm gonna whip you if you don't do what I tell you. What? Are we? And again, this is where you, as a black man, you have to deal with this kind of infantilizing rhetoric from people who And the sad thing is that these are people who are not even as accomplished as you are. But because it happens with older black men as well. Older black men who are not as accomplished as you, sometimes young men, will try to check you when you've done more than they have done in their entire lives. This happens all the time, right? 60-year-old men never bought a house, trying to tell you how to raise your kids, trying to tell you how to love your wife and handle your business affairs. What? This happens all too often. Now, this may happen in other communities, but you see black people in the comments are amening what I'm saying. And so this is not uncommon. The fact that she decided she wants to son him. Oh, we're almost at 13,000. Look at that. We just hit it. Thank y'all. Look at that. Right? We got to pull out a sound effect for that. We just hit 13,000. Yes. All right. We're going to do that. I don't want to do something that's too loud. But because my goal was 10,000 at the end of July. So I was at 6,700 when June started, or at the end of June, and boom. Right? Now, you see, she tries to son him. And he just takes it in stride because she has nothing. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you. I know, man. This was a surprise, right? I was at 6,700 and then 13,000. Woohoo. Yeah, 13,000 subscribers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right there at the top. All right. So thank you to everybody. Now, she just stated something that at one point in time could have been true. Like if she had said in 1867, if she had made that statement, thank you, Cynthia, thank you. If she had made that statement in 1867, yes. If she had made that prior to black men being given the right to vote, yes. If she had made that statement during Jim Crow, the Jim Crow South, yes. These things were all true at one point in time. In 2025, can we name the law on the books that discriminates against black people openly? I'm just asking. Okay? Let me know. What law discriminates against black people specifically in this system of white supremacy? I'm asking, right? I'm asking you all. For those of you that are calling names, this is your opportunity to prove me wrong. Okay? Look at this. All right? Prove me wrong, guys. We are in a position now. Look at this, guys. Look at this. All right? Let me bring this up here. All right? These are black mayors in major cities. Right? Paul Young, Brandon Scott, LaToya Cantrell, Ras Baraka. These are a lot of black mayors that hold power in some very large cities. Okay. Now, these are black mayors in non-black majority cities. That means even white people are voting for these people. Eric Adams, Karen Bass, Brandon Johnson, Muriel Bowser. If there were laws on the books, I'm just asking, where are these laws on the books? Can someone tell me? Has someone put the Can someone? I'm just asking. I know. I'm looking. I don't know. I don't see it. Okay. Yeah. No, they say, I knew gerrymandering was going to come up. Gerrymandering? Is that the best you have? Let me ask. I'm asking. Right? Gerrymandering, is that the best thing you got? I'm just asking. Stop and frisk? Does that still That's still, I thought we had gotten rid of that for the most part. Right? Redlining, okay. Sentencing disparities, is that a law on the books? Disparities aren't a law. What are the disparities? Are you saying that people who commit more crimes, that commit the exact same crime in the exact same way, in the exact same municipality, there's a sentencing disparity amongst those people by race and ethnic group? I'm just asking. Yeah. Because when we get down to the nitty gritty and to the actual data points, and not in a broad sense, just like the wage gap, when you start mining the actual data, you find that, well, what people are saying is not actually the reality. So a sentencing disparity. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. We would hope that justice would be blind, but we know that it isn't. That's why you need good judges. Right? You don't need judges that are allowing situations like this. Let me see. Yeah. Now I'm not going to show I'll show this woman, child care worker, Georgia daycare worker, arrested on child abuse charges, which reportedly happened on the first day. She is currently out on a $44,000 bond. She beat this child. I'm gonna, because the image of it just pees me off. But if y'all want to go and look at it. But this little kid was completely helpless. What about this situation? Right? And then the what's that? Simon, I forget his last name. The judge that allowed him to walk. Are you all okay with that? Right? And she said organic, right? Organic is essentially her being vague, right? So she can point to any statistic that doesn't favor black people and claim that it is discrimination and white supremacy. But when we ask for actual data, so when she says organic, we're saying, okay, well, where's this organic information? Can you give us some examples? Well, all she's going to do, and this is what she did, she's going to go to some random statistic that shows a disparity and make the leap to causation being white supremacy. And that's how if you're not trained in logic and rhetoric, you fall for that. But thankfully, there are people who actually are trained in logic and rhetoric in the world and can spot her nonsense from a mile away. Yeah. So thank you to everybody that is subscribing. I appreciate you all. So we still got some more stuff to talk about because, oh man, she got cooked a lot more in this interview. Now we're not going to go through all of them because there's some other stuff that I want to cover. And we only have like maybe 12 minutes left. Okay. Yes. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that is coming. No. Did I ever say justice was fair? I don't know. Were you talking to me? No. I'll just answer. No, I don't think so. Yes, we were going to talk about that a little bit. We may not have time, though. I have so much stuff. I have a lot of stuff left in the rundown, and we haven't even gotten through half of it. This is the rundown for the episode. So we'll see. We shall see what we'll get to. Now, let's see. Because we had some stuff to talk about with Karen Bass, Brandon Johnson. Man, Amanda Seals. We had some more to stuff. Yeah. Let's see. What can we get to next? I want to say, hold on one second. Oh, yeah, anybody want to answer this? Mike O asked a really good question. Who knows the answer to that one? Y'all got to know the answer to that one. Well, let's do this. We're going to talk about, let's do this. We're going to go to, not that one. New Orleans Mayor Cantrell indicted. No, we're going to do this. Let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk a little bit about old Trump and the Epstein, and it might lead into Zionism for the past 2 minutes. Yeah, what is that? That's an old. I got to get rid of that. Right, exactly. He said it. There you go. There you go. All right. So there was a deadline. All right, there was a deadline. Obviously, they missed it.
Happening now, the U.S. Justice Department faces a deadline from Congress today to turn over highly anticipated documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said yesterday that department officials informed his panel they would begin providing those records on Friday. Happening now.
Okay, so now they moved the deadline. This looks like they're continuing to push back. We're not going to get these files. We're going to keep talking about it and we'll keep asking, but we're not going to get these files. All right? Yeah, we're not going to get these files. We're not going to get the files. I just wanted to at least wanted to talk about this, right? Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We're not going to get these files, right? But they missed the deadline. They're going to try to push it back to Friday now. Oh, boy. Yeah, anyway. We're going to go back to probably. I mean, we already know that he's in them. The issue is he, and Bill Barr mentioned that as well. Says he testified under oath today that Trump is not connected to the Epstein files. And if he were, Biden would have already released it or leaked it. Okay. He said that he'd never seen anything that would implicate President Trump in any of this. And that he believed if there had been anything pertaining to President Trump with respect to the Epstein list, that he felt like the Biden administration would probably have leaked it out. Okay, so this is the former AG. Again, we're trying to piece together all of these things. We talked about this. Yeah, they're going to cover it up. They're going to cover it up. Yeah, they're going to cover it up. Yeah, we know. What's going on, brother? Derek Franklin sending the super chat. Right, I won't hold my breath. Exactly, brother. Exactly. We ain't holding our breath. We're not gonna get these things. Oh goodness. Yeah. Now, this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Two other things, and then we'll close up for the day. Because we've had this. Where is it? Oh man. Yes. That we're gonna switch here. We're gonna switch to this topic. Okay. Oh. Trying to figure out what I want to finish the show with. Okay. I want to finish the show with, right. Yeah, you may not. There's so much stuff to talk about, y'all. Like AOC and Jasmine Crockett. I think I need to start doing some shorts because I can't fit everything into one live stream. I think I'm going to start doing that. Producing some shorts based on some of the stuff in my backlog. Because, yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that. All right, so y'all know about this story. I had to keep talking about this. I didn't talk about this one, but this situation, oh, man. So this is one of the most horrible examples of why certain groups just don't belong in our country. There is a an ideological disconnect between the way we view the world and the way they view the world. And we can't be the world's babysitter. We can't take in the worst of the worst, or take in any person that feels threatened in their home country. We don't have the space, the place. We shouldn't be doing this. This strip of land in North America can't house in any and everybody who feels unsafe in another part of the world. And that should be common sense. Now we have this situation happening in California, and come to find out, this guy he's an Indian national who initially crossed the California border illegally in September 2018 and was arrested by Border Patrol. He was processed for expedited removal, fast-track deportation, by the first Trump administration, but claimed fear of going back to India. All right. So he was allowed to stick around and then was given a license to drive in our country and drive some of the one of the most dangerous vehicles out there on the road. You have to be an extremely good driver in order to handle those 18-wheelers. You have to have so much respect, and you need to be given much respect on the road because of the size and sheer danger of the vehicle. You shouldn't be making illegal U-turns whenever you feel like it, endangering the lives of everyone on the road with you. And so this mentality that we need to accept any and everybody into our country. No. What you need to do, and this is another libs of TikTok, the illegal alien truck driver who got a driver's license in Gavin Newsom's California and killed 3 people in Florida was given a work permit under Biden after it was rejected by the Trump admin, according to DHS. Right? Now, if you want to be in America, you should also want to be American. And we need to define as a country what it means to be an American. And if people don't want to subscribe to what it means to be American, they shouldn't be here. No other country well, I'm not going to say that, because France and England and some of those other Western nations that are about to fall do behave this way. And we should look at them as an example of what not to do. Hey, don't be like them because their nation is about to fall. Hey, California, don't give work permits to people who haven't been vetted, who don't respect the rules of our road, who don't respect the rule of law, who came here illegally. Don't give them a work permit to work here legally if they came here illegally. So you don't fix one problem by creating another. And again, I know a multitude of black truck drivers, entrepreneurs who started from the ground up, got their CDL license, started driving themselves, then got a fleet, and now they own their own trucking company. Where California is saying, well, no, we're just going to let illegal immigrants come over here who don't respect the rules of the road, come over here and just drive however they want. There you go. It doesn't matter. And then they'll say, well, black people don't want those jobs. No, you lying, because I know plenty of black truckers. And again, they put Americans in jeopardy. American lives are being placed in jeopardy because of grapists coming over here, right? Where's this Somalian rapist? Where's the Somalian rapist, multiple, Lake and Riley. We're just putting Americans' lives in danger with unvetted illegal immigrants crossing the border, and we're saying, well, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Because America is a melting pot, right? There he is. Raping an unconscious woman in front of church just before she died. Is from Somalia. Let's see, where's this guy? Yeah. Solomon Galligan, right? Dropped all charges. Thanks, Judge. Trying to abduct an 11-year-old. On camera. So we just let him in. But just let him in, though. Let him in. Because you want to have the heart of Jesus. Non-Christians telling us how to have the heart of Jesus while we allow. Do you know what the penalty is in the Bible, in Israel, for grape? Are we gonna y'all want us to have the heart? Because Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever. Who do you think was talking in the Old Testament? People, right? One, maybe you can't count. One. We mentioned Lake and Riley. We mentioned Solomon. We mentioned the other guy. That's at least 3. Right. Exactly. Thank you, Ivory. Thank you. Oh boy. But look, there's so much stuff that I wanted to cover, but and I knew I wasn't going to be able to cover it. I always put in more stuff than I'm going to be able to cover. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. All right. Thank you to everybody that subscribed. We got over 100. Went over 13,000, right? Over 13,000, right? Today, over 13,000 subscribers. All thanks to everybody here that subscribed. Thank you to every super chat. Appreciate everybody in the chat, both trolls and fans, right? Subscribers. You all keep the engagement up, helping me to build the channel so we can take this thing into the stratosphere, right? Until next time, be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. See y'all around. Bye.